So my great-grandfather played professionally at that time, which 100 years ago obviously wasn't the same game as it is now. And today, 100 years ago exactly, was the day he scored his first goal for Aberdeen Football Club, which is like my home team, the club that I support. You know, my mum has had a season ticket for 30 years. I think it's just always run in the family. I remember from a really young age, my dad used to coach and play. He would always take me along on a Saturday and I would sit behind the goals, and there was a hill behind the goal, and I would just, all the boys would be taking shots and I would just be running after the ball. And I think just from then I was always into it. I always played at school, and it just kind of progressed and spiraled into something that was a huge part of my life and something I grew really passionate for. Moving over here was something that I felt from a younger age was something that I always hoped I'd kind of do, and I always kind of put off making that step to go pro until I was 24, which for a lot of people is quite late, especially back home. And then I got the opportunity last year to actually come over here and do it and finally realize a dream. And yeah, I've learned so much from being part of the team, and obviously I've learned a lot from Laura, but primarily you learn more from the people around you, and I've learned that lesson here more than I ever have. And being part of the defence is something that for me has been a learning curve, and there's been ups and downs this year and last year, and it's all about just making the most of it and developing. We've formed a good partnership in whatever combination is played at centre back or as any part of the defence.
Cox lofted. Corsie there. Goal, Rachel Corsie off Cox service. Lofted ball, back post, and Corsie goes up. Right over McLeod, great finish, 2-1 reign at the 59-minute mark. Scottish international Rachel Corsie.
Just with my past history, I've sort of been fairly good at knowing when it's something I can tolerate or whether there's something going on that just isn't quite right. And in the game, it was something fairly innocuous, but I knew that something wasn't okay.
So our doctors and our physios checked her out, had some scans, and it was showing that she needed some surgery. For her, it was a big change in mindset to go from that to being a rehab player and looking at a fair amount of time off the pitch.
Because I couldn't really pinpoint a specific tackle or movement that sparked anything, I was fairly comfortable and confident that it wasn't anything that serious. And then obviously the club and me and the medical team made the decision that surgery was going to be the right option to progress. And so yeah, that was a really tough period. It was difficult emotionally and mentally to fully understand what that's going to entail.
She was in a brace for 4 weeks and on crutches. So at the 8-week mark now, she started running last week, and now we're just introducing some light football and increasing her running volume. The main emphasis at the moment is still on gym. She's doing a lot of strength work just to get her strength in the legs and around her knee back up to where it needs to be. And we're just slowly progressing her running volume and her football work. We're going to have our normal warm-up, preparing your squat and your deadlift mainly for the main lifts.
Okay.
So it's our heaviest day of the week. So we've got our main lifts and then our accessory at the end. Let's get started. But the good thing about Rachel is she's a very hard worker, very self-motivated, and just gets down to business. For any footballer, it's a challenging period when they're not able to play, and it's a really test of the player's character and their patience and their grit and their determination. But to Rachel's credit, she's been patient, but she's been urgent, she's been organised, really had a good attitude, and I think it will show. She's put in a lot of hard work, and when she comes back, she'll be ready.
think just the timing of it has been difficult, knowing that I probably wasn't going to get back to at least the very, very, very end of the season, if at all. But in saying that, I've had great support from, you know, the players, from Laura. It's been great having Nick on board, and he's worked really closely with me to make sure that, although it's hard sessions and it's tough times, you know that what you're doing is getting you back stronger, and every day you make progress, and I think that feeling is what keeps you going.
Yeah.
Today we found out that we qualified for the Euros with Scotland, and it's never happened before. We've never reached the major finals. It's something that's real motivation going forward. Summer next year is going to be a huge period for all of us, and we can look forward to that, and it's exciting. And today was just nice to be, you know, training, doing the gym session on the field, and knowing that there's something else just there that pushes you that little bit harder.